From the Drexel University Urban Center, home of the Antoinette Westphal College of Media Arts and Design, this is Drexel News.
Coming up on Drexel News.
The Made to Measure program is going to change the game for fashion design.
Learn about a first-of-its-kind partnership that's removing the money barrier between aspiring fashion designers and their dream careers.
I felt like I was just transported, like outside of Philly.
We'll visit a network of local gardens that's been uniting and inspiring community members for 50 years. We'll take you to a real-life Jedi Academy and check out a local comic shop where the Force is strong.
Hello, I'm Paula Mijares Torres.
And I'm Ryan Consul. A new 2-year program is opening doors to the fashion industry for many who may not have otherwise had the opportunity to work in that field.
Video journalist Tessa Martinko and reporter Nicole Field have more on this first-of-its-kind collaboration between Westphal College of Media Arts and Design and Urban Outfitters.
The new partnership is leveling the playing field for many young aspiring fashion designers right here in Philadelphia, and it's all thanks to one very generous donor.
It's a thicker fabric, right?
Due to this generous donation from Decane at Urban Outfitters, money is not a barrier. So for so many students, access to opportunity is related to money, and we get to remove that barrier through Made to Measure.
Denise Snow is the director of the new Made to Measure apprenticeship. It's a collaboration focusing on creative problem solving, a dynamic education, and a customized curriculum, specifically for students who may not otherwise have the opportunity to attend a premier program such as Drexel University's fashion design program.
We've definitely seen a gap in the talent landscape at the entry level, and what we wanted to do was create a synergy between a local educational partner and ourselves to give opportunities to maybe underrepresented individuals in the creative space.
Allie Howell is Westphal College's fashion design program director. As she explains, participants of this apprenticeship will have access to Drexel fashion design labs and professors, and will even work alongside senior students in their field.
The students will be able to grow and gain new skills within our program because they're going to be working with our world-renowned faculty, refining those skills, and the faculty, of course, are bringing in the latest technology, the newest techniques.
The apprenticeship is unique to Drexel University, to Urban Outfitters, and to the industry.
I believe it will be one of the first, or one of the pioneers in the fashion landscape to offer a creative apprenticeship.
The Made to Measure program is going to evolve and change the game for fashion design.
In Drexel University's Westphal College of Media Arts and Design, Nicole Field, D-News.
Education, mentoring, community involvement, and networking is the mission of BEAD, a group committed to supporting members of the Black community at Drexel University.
As Tennyson Thomas reports, the group's work reaches far past the Drexel community.
BEAD, which stands for Black Employees at Drexel, works by hosting community events throughout the year. These events are to bring the community together at Drexel University. They also work by helping out businesses that were affected by the pandemic to rebuild.
During the pandemic, we turned something negative into an opportunity. We began to reach out to some of our local West Philadelphia restaurants and caterers. So every year since the pandemic, the luncheons had been hosted and catered with Black-owned restaurants.
Haji Streffler and Alan Riddick are the members of BEAD. The group's mission is to create a space for dialogue, engagement, and celebration within Drexel's Black community, while also supporting the greater Black community.
We've had dance routines, singing routines. We've had all types of live entertainment, still kind of virtual.
Our lineup of presenters and performers includes not just staff, but also faculty and students, and making sure that it's really an event that people want to show up to, even in a virtual space.
BEAD brings staff, faculty, and students together, both virtually and in person, creating an opportunity for fellowship and much more.
What I found is that it's just not just people who are colleagues, but also kind of like it has very much like a family atmosphere. We have some great programming. It's a good time to kind of connect and eat food, of course.
Being able to bring us together is so important because often it's hard to find each other at Drexel. And so I know like the relationships that I have and that I've made through BEAD and across campus are one of the things that I value most. The theme of the event today was permission to be. So like stepping into our power, into our greatness, because we are making Black history right here and now.
It's important to make sure that we're continuously talking about and sharing all the contributions that African Americans have put into not just this country, but the world.
BEAD works with Black-owned businesses when planning all its events. Another thing that makes this organization unique. Reporting from University City, Tennyson Thomas, Drexel News.
The minimum wage increased in 23 states across the U.S. at the start of 2023, but Pennsylvania was not one of them.
The Commonwealth has had the same minimum wage of $7.25 an hour since 2009. That's starkly lower than New Jersey, which is at $14.30, and Delaware, which is at $11.75 per hour.
With the annual inflation rate at its highest since the early 80s, many people are having a tough time making ends meet. As I learned, it's especially hard for students. Antoinette is one of over 3,000 Drexel students that are juggling work and school. She has 3 jobs, 2 paid and 1 unpaid that provides her career experience.
For the 2 paid jobs, I need to earn money to be able to afford groceries and other necessities, and I can't work off campus for a job that's better paying because I am on a student visa.
She also works in a research lab on campus.
I want to apply for graduate school. I'm applying for graduate school right now, and it's a good way for me to get experience and for my resume to look good.
Another international student, Kevin Parak from Nepal, used to work as a student ambassador and made $8 an hour. But his limited work schedule meant his take-home pay remained low.
Practically nothing. Almost just trying to, scrap every day, like food, lunch. That's what I could spend mostly on it.
Taylor Schneider is from Pennsylvania, and he's able to work off campus. He makes $3.63 an hour plus tips at a cafe. The state's minimum wage for service workers is $2.83.
So some days I can make, $12 an hour, and some days I can make $20, but that's very rare. I use it to pay rent. I use it to buy groceries. I use it to save up for after I graduate.
The Living Wage Calculator is an analyst tool created by experts at MIT. It shows the average single person without a child should make $17.35 an hour just to support themselves financially in Philadelphia. That is over 2 times the current minimum wage.
The minimum wage in Pennsylvania has been the same since 2009.
Dr. Claire Kulvak is a senior analyst at Keystone Research Center. She specializes in poverty and material hardship research.
There are around 64,000 people in Pennsylvania who make at or below the minimum wage. But really what those numbers don't capture is the people who were earning, just above the minimum wage.
Dr. Kulvak says most legislators in Harrisburg agree that $7.25 an hour is just too low.
Every year that we don't address this problem, it gets worse.
College students continue to stretch their dollars to afford food, personal items, and don't forget education costs.
It's difficult, definitely a challenge.
To check out MIT's Living Wage Calculator, visit livingwage.mit.edu.
It started as a grassroots effort to deal with the drug epidemic of the 1970s.
50 years later, this community project continues to breathe new life into a neighborhood still haunted by the drug activity. Reporter Luis Benitez takes us to the Kensington neighborhood of Philadelphia.
What I've seen when people come, usually for the first time, they're always surprised.
Many call the gardens of Norris Square neighborhood project an oasis.
And I feel like we're a well-kept secret. They're surprised by the feeling of the gardens.
These gardens were once vacant lots, an open-air drug market, but community members and local organizations wanted to take back their neighborhood and began transforming the land into 6 Caribbean-themed gardens.
I felt like I was just transported, outside of Philly into this Puerto Rican garden, instantly just being surrounded by the smell of this cafecito, of the different artwork, Puerto Rican artwork and Taino artwork that was displayed. I just felt like I was in a garden back on the island.
While the cultural gardens are open for all, the project's mission is to provide a safe space for the people who call this area home.
We don't have a theater in this community. We don't have many organizations or places where people could go and gather. People in this community, they gather in these gardens.
There are gardens everywhere, but here there's often something being cooked or there's somebody playing or music, and it's colorful, and people just like to, I feel like I see them sort of get a little feeling of ownership of the gardens.
And that feeling of ownership reaches community members of all ages.
And I couldn't give up because I have 4 children. And if I gave up, they were going to give up.
These gardens give youth in the community the opportunity to attend after-school programming and weekend outings, all while reconnecting with their heritage through art, cooking, camping, and of course, gardening.
We needed to take care of our people. We needed to take care of the culture. And we were doing that through the music and the food and the art.
As a native of Puerto Rico, Izzy's proud of the generational work that so many have put into creating what so many in the neighborhood call their home, away from home.
Because it's not only the plants and the vegetables, it's the art that we put, it's the music, it's the food, the smell, the herbs.
Yeah, it's a place that really draws you in.
With photojournalist Mike Buffalo, I'm Luis Benitez, Drexel News.
Residents from North Philadelphia to University City are starting to get back outside and enjoy the green grass and blue skies.
But when it comes to parks, there are some hidden gems in our city you may not know of yet. Evan Moreau takes us along as he discovers some unique green spaces for urban residents.
This park right here is one of my favorites because it's kind of more like obscure. People don't really know about it.
Like so many others who live in Philadelphia, Christine has a few favorite spots to unwind.
I really like Rittenhouse because I kind of live in this neighborhood.
And while some of those parks aren't so secret,
There's a place across the river, kind of like towards University City, called Cira Green.
others you may not have heard about until now. Called Philadelphia's Park in the Sky, Cira Green is located on top of Cira Center, just steps away from Philly's 30th Street station.
It's a green space on top of a building, and you can get like this amazing view of the city from up there.
Whether you're heading outdoors to enjoy the skyline or just to get a change of scenery, Philadelphia has plenty of options to enjoy the outdoors, even during a chillier afternoon. From John F. Collins Park just off Chestnut to Perth and Addison Park in Washington Square, there's plenty of places to have a seat and escape with nature, especially as we look forward to warmer weather. With video journalist Mariel Moreno, I'm Evan Moreau, D-News.
What started as one local college student senior capstone project is providing so much needed laughter for those in the Philadelphia community.
Photojournalist Kayla Thompson and I go behind the scenes of a new kind of show at Drexel University. What has this audience smiling and laughing?
Drexel Night Live is a completely student-written, produced, run, everything club here at Drexel. It's a live sketch comedy show similar to an SNL style.
Mackenzie Fatzinger and Jackie Schaefer are the Drexel Night Live club leaders.
This club started as a senior project, and we were just like, we have to continue this. Mackenzie and I, we were like, we can't just let this be a one-off thing.
Before they knew it, they were hosting meetings in packed classrooms. But being a new club at the school, they ran into a few challenges.
And so we got to start it off, but they were like, okay, you have no funding, go have fun. And we're like, okay. Jackie and I put our own money into props, printing, and other things that we needed to pay for.
What started as one student's senior project evolved into a massive club of students from all backgrounds, pitching in and offering their talents to the show. At Drexel Night Live, there's a spot for everyone.
We have students from all different majors, from actors to camera crew to sound to costume design, every part.
They say laughter's the best medicine, and Mackenzie and Jackie say it has certainly helped them and others involved in the show get through the stress of college life.
We poured our hearts out and just had fun writing them and making fun of ourselves through them, making fun of things that happen on our campus or in the world. And it just really makes the world a better place when you have comedy in it, I have to say.
Coming up on Drexel News, they're learning skills that will keep them safe throughout their lifetime.
Good.
But these students are learning so much more than self-defense moves.
And may the force be with you. We'll introduce you to some real-life Jedis right here in our community. A free class created right here on Drexel's campus is providing potentially life-saving skills to everyone who signs up.
Video journalist Shane Attenborough and reporter Nate Bogosian have more on how this class is keeping participants safe.
We're going to throw that jab. We're going to go one, and see how I'm turning my head.
These students are participants in SAFE, a free self-protection program created by Drexel University's Public Safety Department.
Came up with the SAFE program, which the acronym would be basically the self-awareness for everyone.
Linda Moran has worked with the Public Safety Department for nearly 9 years. She says the SAFE program is a resource for all members of the Drexel community.
I know we've presented it to a lot of the different sports teams, like the women's soccer team, field hockey, and then just we hold monthly sessions that anybody that's a student, faculty, or staff can participate in.
Amy Spiller is Victim Services Coordinator for the department. She encourages everyone to attend those monthly sessions.
It doesn't matter your sex. We're teaching you the skills in order for you to survive an attack.
Drexel police officer Dave Hubert played a key role in developing SAFE. He leads the classes alongside fellow officers.
Good. Violence isn't really a natural thing for us, right? And our goal is to just give you a little bit of self-confidence.
And with that boost in confidence comes some surprising discoveries.
Some of the students that we've had have never been physical ever in their lives. So when we do some of the practicals, they're amazed to realize that they have the physical tools necessary to defend themselves if need be.
Officer Hubert says the lessons are about much more than self-defense tactics.
We get to teach a tool set that is important, but more importantly, we communicate, and we have a lot of fun while we do it.
Participants we spoke to say the lessons they learned during the SAFE classes are skills they'll carry with them throughout their future.
And knowing that I had the power to do something and actually practicing the moves and kind of seeing how much of an impact I could make on a punch or something like that. So I feel a lot more confident now with that.
From Drexel University Public Safety Office Building, Nate Bogosian, D-News.
They're taking their love of the Star Wars franchise to an entirely new level.
Coming up, we'll meet the real-life Jedis of Drexel University.
Sports, museums, and an all-encompassing music scene. They're just some of the things that make Philadelphia such a great city to work, live, and play.
But there's something else happening in our city that has people geeking out. Video journalist Tamrick Else and reporter Matthew Cassidy explain.
Throughout Philadelphia, people with niche hobbies form communities over their shared interests. On Drexel University's campus, the Dragon Jedi unite to battle it out in flashy lightsaber duels. It is part of the so-called geek culture of Philly.
So we are a lightsaber choreography club.
Ian Rigby is an official Dragon Jedi. He says the club performs publicly at charity events as a way to give back to the community. And while members of the group are obviously huge Star Wars fans, many are also professionally trained to wield a sword, or in this case, a lightsaber.
I am myself a martial artist. I'm a third-degree black belt, and that all of our instructors are either former members of the club or people who are actually trained in swordsmanship.
Formal training is not required to join. The club welcomes all to its Jedi Order. So, how does a real-life Jedi prepare for a duel?
I watched all of the Darth Maul fights in the movies and in the Clone Wars, so I could get inspiration for the emotions and the energy that he had.
And after the duels,
I mean, we hang out every Friday after practices, so it's you build yourself some friends just by showing up.
Everyone is so friendly here.
you'll also find plenty of Jedi across town at Brave New Worlds and Old City. But there's much, much more in this popular shop. Store manager Brian Johnson says getting to know his customers is the most important and rewarding part of his job.
So I'm here a lot of the time talking to people, figuring out what people like, what people are reading.
Have somebody come in not really knowing what they're looking for and give them the perfect book, and you see their face light up.
Johnson and his colleague, Cacey Crawford, say this shop, much like the Drexel Jedi, is all about community.
Brave New Worlds is a store where we sell comics and other stuff, but really it's a community.
I know it gives people a place to come and like talk, you know, chat about what they're reading, complain about what they're reading, see if we've watched the latest movie, have you caught the latest episode of the show. You know, if a friend of mine's got a book coming out, I try to promote them and just say, hey, like, you know, my friend Christine Larson has this book called Orcs, read this.
From local artists and comic book enthusiasts to die-hard Star Wars fans, the force is strong with Philadelphia's nerd communities. Matthew Cassidy, D-News.
What a fun group, Brian. I just saw them yesterday practicing in front of the rec.
Yeah, absolutely. We have so many talented and creative people on Drexel's campus.
Yeah, and that's all for Drexel News.
Thank you so much for watching.